Here we go. You guys might get a little thing on your screen that we're recording. Okay, we've got one more person coming in the waiting room right now, so let's give them a second to connect and then. Okay, Nikhil, you want to kick us off?
I sure can. Good morning, everyone. My name is Nikhil Kalra. I've devoted my entire career to education. I started as a teacher, served as a principal, and now I'm a supporter of public education and an advocate of public education. I also have the privilege of serving as the education committee chair for Oklahoma Appleseed Board of Directors. And I'm the father of 3 kids, all of whom attend public schools here in Oklahoma. We're here today because, from my perspective, we've reached a critical point in education policy in Oklahoma. Recently, across the state, both in urban and rural districts, Oklahoma public school teachers have been the target in culture wars that put them and their livelihoods in harm's way. House Bill 1775, which was passed by the Oklahoma legislature in 2021, has opened the door for these attacks on our teachers, who are working incredibly hard every day to affirm, support, and teach our kids. And this law is unconstitutionally vague. It severely limits what our kids can learn about our history. And personally, I never thought I'd see a time in my life when just doing the work of teaching kids would incite vitriol and fear. And I think that last bit is true. Teachers in Oklahoma are afraid. They're being put in an impossible situation and are increasingly facing attacks from parents, communities, administrators, state officials. The well-being of our teachers and the future of our children is at stake. And so it's for this reason that the Oklahoma Appleseed Board of Directors authorized creating the Freedom to Teach Fund. This is a one-of-a-kind legal fund that will pay for teachers' legal fees against these ideological wars so that they can continue to focus on what matters most. I'd like to introduce Oklahoma Appleseed's Executive Director, Colleen McCarty, to describe how the fund will function. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Nikhil. Good morning. My name is Colleen McCarty, and I'm an attorney and the Executive Director of Oklahoma Appleseed Center for Law and Justice. Today, we're announcing the creation of the Freedom to Teach Fund. It is a fund I wish we never had to create, but I'm extremely glad that we could. When the recent targeting of teachers started hitting the headlines, I was sick to my stomach. Oklahoma public school teachers have already mobilized a system-wide walkout to demand better pay in 2019. They shifted, regrouped, and learned new technology to continue to teach children through a global pandemic, often working off hours and putting their own needs last to ensure proper instruction happened for Oklahoma's children. Now they face attacks from state officials and administrators over culture wars. We should be ashamed and we should do better. The Freedom to Teach Fund will be a legal war chest for public school teachers facing battles that should occur in the courtroom and not the classroom. Oklahoma Appleseed is hosting the fund. It will be a restricted program for which the use can only go towards paying vetted attorneys to take teachers' legal cases. The cases we will accept will be proactive litigation to support teachers' free speech rights under the First Amendment to the United States Constitution and their due process rights to pursue their chosen profession. The Volunteer Advisory Council, who we'll announce in just a few minutes, will screen appropriate cases and match potential clients with lawyers experienced in the required fields of law. The donations to the fund will pay for the legal representation. I'd like to introduce Senator Mary Boren of District 16, who will describe the purpose of the fund and its importance. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Hello, everyone. I'm Senator Mary Boren from Senate District 16 in Norman, Oklahoma. And in my district, I've noticed that there is a radical authoritarian agenda that is eroding the freedom of teachers in my district to teach and encourage the love of reading books and to prepare students to participate in a diverse democracy. My district is very diverse. We have the University of Oklahoma situated right in the middle of my district, and the whole world comes to Norman, Oklahoma every fall to love learning and to share experiences, and also to share experiences that are not common to all of us. And in that process, we become more equipped to participate in democracy and to show the world what a vibrant democracy looks like. Unfortunately, this radical authoritarian agenda has been given a opportunity through House Bill 1775 to really intimidate and change the way, unfortunately in a bad way, that teachers are confident to be able to teach in my district. So I am determined to raise funds necessary for teachers to have high quality legal representation, to access the protections of the Constitution of the United States of America that affords them. And when they are targeted by the radical agenda in Oklahoma, that they will have private access to a private attorney to protect their rights. I came from a legal background. I'm an attorney. I got my law degree from the University of Oklahoma. I grew up in rural Oklahoma, and I saw firsthand how civil rights of individuals are circumvented just because of local cronyism and prosecutorial discernment that isn't always given in the fairest way. So hopefully that this fund, and then I became a teacher. I became a school counselor with the goal of preparing our school children for a diverse world, so that they would be able to truly love their neighbors as themselves, and to have empathy and compassion, overcome the injustices that we've seen historically in the United States and also in Oklahoma. So I'm very grateful for the Appleseed stepping up to host this fund, and I'm looking forward to serving in the as a volunteer in an advisory capacity to help raise funds, and to also make sure that the teachers that need those funds are able to access those. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Leslie.
Thank you, Senator. Can everyone hear me okay? Wonderful. So my name is Leslie Briggs. I'm the new legal director here at Oklahoma Appleseed. And even though I don't take my position until December 1st, I'd like to say that I'm extremely excited to work with the Volunteer Advisory Council on the Freedom to Teach Fund to identify vet cases that are going to advance teacher autonomy, protect their individual liberties and their individual rights and their privacy. Now, I think it's important to note that public officials are not immune from tort liability, especially if they have helped facilitate violations of those privacy rights of individuals or to speak falsely about their character. Teachers also have a procedural due process right before they risk losing their teaching certificates. They're entitled to notice and a hearing on the matter. These are just some of the issues that the fund is designed to help teachers combat, especially in the wake of House Bill 1775. And Oklahoma, as many of us are aware, has historically undervalued and underinvested in public education and public educators. Coupled with that, the fact that lawyers are expensive. We've only gotten more expensive in recent years, and it's hard to find affordable counsel that specializes in education law and constitutional law. And so the Freedom to Teach Fund is designed to create greater access for teachers in need of these kind of specialized legal services. And that is the reason this fund, I believe, is so crucial. And I'm so excited and thrilled to be housing it at OK Appleseed. We know that public schools are the lifeblood of civic engagement. We know that a public education that is robust, that is high quality, that introduces competing ideas, creates a generation of critical thinkers who can engage and self-govern. With this fund, we're going to help protect that system. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Liz Pierce. She's a member of the Volunteer Advisory Council for the Freedom to Teach Fund. She's going to tell you why she's passionate about supporting teachers.
Thank you. Anyone who is a public school teacher who feels they're being targeted by administrators parents or state officials for activities that stem from their classroom instruction can contact the fund through OK Appleseed, and we will evaluate your case. I'm public school strong. Public education has been essential to my success. I graduated from OSU with degrees in agricultural economics and accounting, went on to OU and received a law degree. And my interest in serving on the advisory board of the Freedom to Teach Fund stems from growing up as a teacher's kid and being taught and coached by both my parents. My dad, he was a pro football player, and he played in the NFL for years. And when he finished his career, he chose to come back to his hometown and coach football and teach math. And I talked to Don Shula, the storied coach of the Dolphins, after my dad had passed. My dad was a very modest guy, but he was a defensive, great mind. And Don Shula had offered him multiple opportunities to go coach for the Dolphins, and he always turned them down. And so my dad was a great football coach, but actually his favorite thing was coaching junior high girls basketball. And actually he was ahead of Title IX. He coached us like we were an NFL team, and there were many opportunities. Suicides were easy, and there were many opportunities for us to run the stairs for just a little fall. But although the moms didn't quite care for it, when we all graduated, we didn't see the glass ceiling anymore. We were there to break it. We weren't fragile. We were young, successful women ready to break the ceiling. My mom, on the other hand, came from a socioeconomic background that was not good. Her dad left when she was a toddler. And so she kept at it, progressed, got 3 degrees. And so her strong set was helping children that were affected by stresses know and understand that they could be successful, and education was the key. And so when it came time for me to graduate from high school, I was made to be a teacher. And my secret dream was to become a high school football coach, just like my dad. And so I got accepted to OSU, and I was about to make my decision on a major. And I told my mom, hey, I'm going to be a teacher. And the only time my mom has ever told me no was then. And she said, no, you're not. Because she said, we've spent our careers providing excellence, stopping bullying, addressing the facts, teaching the facts, and being there for the vulnerable. And she said, there's a lot of times when you're doing that where you're just on an island, and it's really stressful. And she said, for your family's security, you need to go be an accountant, be a lawyer, do something different. And so that's the reason why I'm here today, is because I feel like we're at a crossroads for our teachers where they're so vulnerable, and it's hard to understand that vulnerability until you've been there. But it's your family's income, it's the community that you love, that you want to live in. It's the ability to have a good performance evaluation that's not used by one or affected by one person with an axe to grind, with a personal agenda. And frankly, it's just about that feeling of being secure and liked by your community. And so I feel like it's reached the point where our teachers, they need a legal boundary of protection. And so that's why I feel like this is so important. So basically, our fund for legal expenses will begin to accept donations next week on Giving Tuesday, which is November 29th. And I encourage you to follow Oklahoma Appleseed on their social media platforms so you can get the link to give. Thank you, and I'll hand it back to Colleen for closing remarks.
It's only been 2 years. You'd think I would be good at unmuting myself, but I had to be corny and put this John Adams quote in the slide deck because I just feel so strongly that public education is in the fabric of our nation, and it is a right that our children deserve, and it should be free and accessible and low barrier. And we have to have good teachers willing to go into the classroom and deliver it. And if we continue to chill their ability to teach and deliver that education, we will be raising an illiterate generation. And so I encourage questions at this point about the fund, about the advisory council, about how people can apply for relief under the fund. We are still setting everything up, but like Ms. Pierce said, we will be accepting donations to the fund starting on Giving Tuesday, and there will be some announcements on our social media today announcing the fund. And so you guys are really getting the first look at what we're going to be doing. So any questions so far? So quiet. Well, if there are no questions, then I will direct you guys to OKAppleseed-freedom-2-teach-fund to learn more and look at our social media and follow for links to donate, which will launch next Tuesday. And I really want to say thank you to everyone who is serving on the Volunteer Advisory Council who will be screening cases. This is really exciting, and I'm glad that this exists. So thanks, everybody.